movie I have to watch every couple of years.
I love this film for many reasons.
Every frame really is a piece of art.
But it's really storytelling done so well.
It's just a great movie.
And essential. On the Waterfront, 1954. Elia Kazan as a director and Marlon Brando as an actor were one of the great movie teams.
Bud Schulberg really perfected this story and this script.
Marlon Brando and Eve Marie Saint and the entire cast is perfect.
On the Waterfront is film history 101 for so many reasons.
You better get out of here, Buster.
Now, slow down, boy, huh?
I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I want you and your girlfriend to just take off.
All right, Mr. Malloy, you have every right not to talk if that's what you choose to do. The public has a right to know the facts, too, you know.
Yeah. All
I'll be
right.
seeing you again, Mr. Malloy.
Well, never's gonna be too much soon for me, Shorty.
On the Waterfront, one of the really iconic films from the 50s of all time, actually. It's got so much going for it, besides a really dynamic story with so many layers to it. Direction by Elia Kazan and Brando's performance. Again, one of those movies that kind of goes beyond being a movie. It kind of becomes a part of the culture, part of the literature of film. And certainly Brando's performance in it is one of the iconic performances of all time. But also what it was saying at that same time because of the background of it, the political background of Kazan and Schulberg naming names during the House Un-American Activities Committee things. And so this movie is kind of about saying that there is a time when you may have to squeal on people, that it's your conscience is doing it, that there are certain times you can't keep quiet. That didn't pacify most people who held it against Kazan to the end of his life and Schulberg to the end of his life.
I went to an Academy Awards where Elia Kazan was being honored, and it was still very fervent. But, and speaking of Bud Schulberg, I loved how much he was driven to get the script tighter and tighter and tighter. And it really is such a perfectly tight story. And your point is so absolutely spot on that this film, On the Waterfront, goes beyond a movie. It was a cultural story. It was so important at the time. It went beyond just a film. I think that's because from details that they cast real longshoremen, and so many of the people making this film were in controversy themselves, and Brando's performance is the most perfect performance in the most perfect movie.
Right.
That it's just one of the most important iconic films that was ever made. And the score in this film, it starts out, you know, in the movie, and you sort of get recoiled in your seat with this intensity. I think as far as scores, this might be one of my favorite as far as how amazingly effective it is for this film.
Also, Eve Marie Saint, we have to say, it was her first movie. She'd done a lot of television, but her first movie, and she's so wonderful in it, won the Academy Award for it, and had a great career that followed it. And I think it's, again, a great performance.
I want to know who killed my brother!
All the pieces of this work
came together perfectly.
And that doesn't always happen.
And I want to talk about chemistry this season in The Essentials, and I don't think there's a greater example of chemistry between Eva Marie Saint and Marlon Brando in this movie, to where he puts her glove on, which is such a famous moment in cinema history, or the kiss that they share in the apartment when he calls her a fruitcake, you know, and takes her for a beer. All of these moments are just, watching them is one of the great things to watch in cinema.
Right. Well, let's see the film, Truly an Essential, and the winner of 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture of the Year, 1954, On the Waterfront.